positioning. So it's the power. What you are seeing here is the power of positioning property here. And that's this one you can see that the content is being placed this side here. So with the help of positioning property, you can place the content anywhere you want on the screen. Whether you want the thing to move, look at the search here too. As you can see, this box is coming down and is not affecting any other content on the page. So the reason why this thing is possible is because of the positioning property. So if I inspect this code, you are going to see that somewhere this box is aligned positioning property. It can be absolute, it can be fixed, it can be sticky depending on the feature that you want. So if you want the stuff to depend on its parents, and anytime the parent move, it will follow the parent, then um you are going to use absolute. But if you know that the element is not going to depend on its parents and is not going to move at all, then you are going to use fix. If the parent is moving and you don't want that element to move, you are going to use fix. But if the parent is not moving, you can use absolute too there because the parent is not moving already. So it will be using wherever you place it inside its parent, and that's where it's going to stay. Since the parent is not moving, it will not move from that page there too. And if I show you this one now, so can you see what they are using? So let me increase this stuff. You see that what the site is using is this positioning of absolute here, which is what you can use to move your elements around based on its parent. So wherever its parent is placed, that's where it's going to be located also, which means somewhere the parent is being positioned as relative, as you can see here. So let's do something like this. We're going to have a simple page where we have this search icon. Then anytime you click on the search icon, we want to bring something like this to outside. And this will require JavaScript in order for you to be able to toggle. So because here now, we're going to add a little JavaScript that anytime you click on this stuff, we want this thing to come outside. But for now, we're not going to attach that. We focus on the CSS part, and later on we can now add a JavaScript to perform the toggling of the box that is coming out there. So if the stuff is not open and you click on this button here, it's going to open it, and if you click on it again when this thing is open, it's going to close it. But for now, it's not going to work. We only focus on the CSS part. So we need to design this element, and there's a lot of things that is going on here, but we are going to put everything together. So let me go back into this file. I hope you can hear me, Sha.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so
But sir, can you increase the maybe the size of your listening a bit? It's kind
yes,
of
of
tiny.
course, I will do that. I just
Okay, sir.
want to create the folder first. So C4, I have 66. So I have this 66, which I'm going to create the necessary file. So we need the index, the HTML file, we need the CSS file, and we need the JavaScript file. But for now, we only focus on the HTML and the CSS parts. So later we add the JavaScript because I don't want to complicate the matter. Uh, so we should see how to do it first before putting the JavaScript there. So generating the page contents, and here we just name it positioning example here. So we have this example. And what do we want to do? Because first, you need to understand what you want to do. This is what we want to mimic here. We're going to have a button with this kind of an icon inside it. And anytime this button is clicked, we want this thing to come outside. But if you look at this here, it is placed on top of the other content. So it is positioned on top of the other content. So, and how do you do this? We are going to put everything in practice there. But first, we need to be able to create all these elements and we need to arrange them correctly in order for this thing to work. So in order for it to work, we need to arrange it correctly there, like that. So, and what do we need to do? So this is the structure. This is what we are going to have on our page or inside the body. Inside the body, so we are going to have the body. So inside the body, somewhere inside the body, we are going to have the button, which have this the search icon, and this search icon here is going to be inside the header of the site, just like the way it is from that side. So you can have the logo by this side, and you're going to have the search icon by the right hand side here. But I won't focus on the logo. I will just focus on the search box. So, and any time the search box is clicked, we want to display a box here. The box is going to be placed on top of the other content. And the box is going to have the input for the search. And down here, it can have some other thing like the text, just like the way it is on that site there. So as you can see under it, it have this icon with this in these topics. And it's going to list out whatever you search. So we're going to have the search icon, and at the same time, we're going to have the text follow it there. So this content here, this one, and we need to position it on top of the other one. But how do you do it without shifting other element from the page? Because if you look at it now, look at this search box. There's some other content under it, but it's not, moving those content out of the way. Those content are still staying wherever they are, but this box is on top of it. So how do we do this? We're going to see how to put everything in practice. So the first thing we need to do is to have the header section. So inside this header section, you are going to have the logo, which I'm just going to have it as a text. So this is going to be logo, and inside it like this is going to just be logo th or whatever stuff you want to call it. So apart from this, we are going to have button. This is where we're going to have our icon. But where is the icon? Where is the icon? Where are we going to get this icon? So we can go online and download the icon. For example, like this one they are using on this side now. I can inspect it and see what they are using there. So, and I can see that they are using something that I don't have access to. So they are not using image. So since they are not using image, one way of doing this thing is going online and search for the icon. There's a lot of sites that you can go to get icon. One of them is what this site is using, which is known as font on. I have a lot of go online to search for the icon. So, but they use fonts to create these icons. So one of them is on library that you can use for icons there. So it create a lot of use for free, free one, and the paid, but you can get free. All things to do the free one are, are that. And how do you get the icon? Just go to their site. Once you go to their site, you search for the icon you're looking for. They will allow you to copy the HTML if you want to use the HTML method, or you can copy the SVG of the one. So the one I'm currently on is version 4, but I can go to this version 5, which is I think currently here they have 6, but let's go to 5. And from there we can look for the search icon or any other icon you want to use in your project. Anytime you're working on a project and you don't have the icon, what you can do, come to this font function and look for the icon that you want there like that. Or if you don't want to use this font function, I see other one that you can use like hero icon and a lot of them like that. But for here, font function is really popular. A lot of people are using it. Even the site that I just showed you now, it's using the font function icon for that search. So we too we can use it. And how do you search? As you can see here, just come to their sites, and at the top you're going to see the icon. Click on the search icon here. It will bring out this box and you can search for whatever icon you want. For example, now if I search for user, it will bring all the icon that is related to users, and you can pick the one you want there based on your design. But later on, some of the design we'll be working on, I already have the Figma for them. I'm going to be sharing it with you later on. So the Figma are there. You can actually copy the icon. All some of the design you have there already. The icon has been provided for you. Just go into the folder, the images or the assets. You see all of them there. But because here we are using a particular site, so we don't have the file, and there's no way we'll be able to have the icon. And since we don't have the icon, we need to look for it online, and this is one of the sites that you can use for the icon there. So if you come to their site, they give you a lot of icons that you can use. What's going on? Is the network still searching? I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought maybe my network because it's not going saying what you're. I'm not seeing what you're
Yes,
saying very well. I just have to like hold, not knowing your network.
yeah, once you get to their site, the site is just this fontawesome.com. So once you get to the site, you click on the search icon, and it will give you the search box, and you type the type of the icon that you want. So if you want anything like user icon, just type it there. As you can see, it's going to bring different icon that's related to user, and you just click on it and download. But this is not what we want. It's not the user. I think we can actually use the user too. So let me click on one of them. For example, like this one. So once you click on it, it will bring out a menu for you to download the SVG, if you want to download the SVG, or if you want to include it on your site. But that one will always require internet. So that's the problem with the other method. Come outside now. So what's wrong with this network?
Sir, please, what's the meaning of that SVG?
It's a scalable vector graphic now. It's like a JPEG or PNG, but it's kind of a scalable. Scalable means that you can increase it to any size and you are not going to lose the quality. So you know you can, if there are some places you need the image to be large and there are some places you need it to be small. So where you need the image to be large and you are not using the small size, you increase it. But when you increase any JPEG or PNG or if it increases more than the original size, you see that the thing will start pixelating, like it will not be clear again. So when you're using PNG or you're using
Yeah,
JPEG and
yeah,
that type of image file, you can't just increase them anyhow. If you increase them more than what they can take, it will start blowing out. Just like the way you upload image online. Like if you upload image from a poor camera
mm,
and you are now putting it on a large screen, you see that the thing will not be clear. It will blow out. So that's the same thing. It will happen with your this thing.
yes.
All this PNG or JPEG. So if you use a small PNG file and you're now increasing it
Okay.
more than what the size is there, it will start blowing out. But with this SVG, you can increase it anyhow you want to any size, or you can compress it. It will always give you the best quality because the stuff is not using any image, whatever stuff. It's using mathematics behind the scene to draw all the see. Most of them is always line. So this thing will be draw using the mathematics stuff behind the scene there, and you have correct things there. What's going on with this their side?
Okay. So, can someone change the color? Like, this is
Yes,
the.
and yeah, if you copy
Hello, sir.
if it, that yeah, if you have the SVG, SVG is just like HTML. If you look at all those file you have been working with, you see that most of the
Okay.
icon there they are SVG, right? Most of the icon you only see that they end with SVG. Let me see if I can find one of them here. Oh, this one is PNG.
Yes, sir.
This one. Let me see. Is there a project here that we use? Okay, these are JS projects. Let me go to the other project that we've worked on before. Let me see P4 assets, then images. Can you see? Can you see them? Almost all the icon that will be given to you, they are always in SVG. And if you click on it, you see that it's just like HTML code. So SVG is just like normal HTML code. And you can change anything about them. Can you see? You can customize the height, the weight of it, or the field. So this fill now is what you can now use to change the color on the. Can you see this one now is using F55? So which means this icon now is close to white. And if you want, you can change the color to anything. So I can put color red here, or for the line, if I want, I can specify the stroke color too, just like the way. Okay, this is the stroke, which is the color, or you can fill, which is the fill for that particular image there. This is icon reaction, icon fiber, and icon visual. So let me copy one of them and just use it so that you can see it in action. So SVG is just like you are dealing with normal HTML code. So under this my C6, let me just paste it, and it's going to give us this. So if you want to use it and on your page and you want to change the color, you can't use the image to import them. You have to copy the code directly. So if you want to change the color from the CSS or from this HTML code, then you have to copy the code and paste it directly inside HTML. So if you don't do it like this, if you include it through the ing tag, it will not work. Because when you include it through the ing tag, you cannot update the color. But if you want to change the color, then you have to use it like normal HTML code. And as you can see from from the file, I copied all the HTML out, the code that is there, then paste it where I want to use it. So from now, or now I can change any color that I want. So this is the color that is using. But if you want to include it as image, then you have to make the changes to the file itself. So you change the color here, then you import it as an image. But anytime you import it as image, you cannot change the color from CSS. But with this method here, you can update its color from CSS. So it all depends on whether you want to modify the color from CSS or not. Because if you use it like this, like the normal element, CSS will be able to change anything on it, like this stroke on the part that is inside this SVG. So let me go live so that you can see the icon and you see that we can update the color or change it to anything that we want there. So I don't know, this their site is, can you see the icon? So the icon is this eye icon, and if you look at the color that is here, it looks like this purple color. But if I want, I can change it to red. How do I change it to red? It's just to update the color code in this part here. So for example here now, if I change it to red, go back to the screen, you see that it's going to update color once everything is done. Can you see now? The color has changed to red. So with SVG, copy
Okay.
the SVG directly from the file that is given to you into your HTML. You can modify any property that is on it using CSS or directly from your HTML. As you can see, the stroke now is red. If I don't want to use red, maybe I want to use yellow, I can update it directly from here or do it from the CSS there. I can update the color to anything I want. But if you are using image, assuming we are using image now, that one, you can't change it. Anything you load through the image, you can't change it. The only way you can change is to go to the file and make whatever you want to make from that file, the changes you want to make from that SVG file itself. But once you load it, you can't change the color to any other thing from it. And this is image, but this is direct SVG. So the direct SVG, you can modify it, the property, but the one that you load from the image, you cannot change anything. So you can't just talk to this image that you want to change the color. Image will not do anything on it. So you can't modify
Mhm.
things from there like that. So I will just remove this one. So I will use
Okay. But sir, how can someone
this.
change the color from CSS instead of maybe this HTML?
You can see this is the element. Look at the element. You select the element, you target the element just like the way we normally target other elements. So let me include my CSS. So style, or let me use the link. Or if I want, let me just even do it for, or let me use the external one. So the link CSS, but you can use the inline one too if you want. So let me go to the CSS, then SVG, target the SVG. If it's the SVG you want to change, but it's not SVG that I want to change because it's not SVG that is having the color. As you can see, it is part, but this part is inside SVG. So if you want, you can just do it like this. So the part that is inside SVG, you want to change. What do you want to change there? So what do you want to change? What I want to change is this. So look at the property. The property you want to change is the stroke. So the stroke now, I want to change it to what? So you mention whatever you want to change it so there. Or if you want to even change the thickness of that stroke, you can change it there too from CSS. So currently it is yellow,
Okay.
but I want it to be orange red or orange red like this. So save it. You see that it's going to, can you see now? It has changed it to orange red.
Okay.
CSS.
Yes, sir.
So if I want, I can change the thickness of that line too, because all these property you can update them from CSS. So we have the stroke width, which is the thickness of the line. So here I want to use 3 pixels. So the thickness of that line is, can you see now? It has increased. The
Okay.
line thickness.
Okay.
So if I want 5 pixels,
Okay.
try to increase it more, which is going more than what
Mm,
1 pixels like this, as you can see, is going to reduce the line. Currently, what is there? Let me see what is there. Can you see the stroke width is this 1.25 pixels? Like that. Into every other property on it, you can modify them like that. So with CS,
okay.
when you're using SVG directly, you can modify its property from CSS or from the HTML. But if you include it like this from image, you can't change anything. Image, you can't just come here now and say image, you want to change its color to be red. Color cannot change image. So you can see nothing will
It's just
happen. It will never change. Can't change
okay.
a load through the image. It's always the way it is there. If you want to change it now, you have to go to the original file and modify it. So this is the original file. So what I can do here is to change the stroke color here, maybe to what can I even use? Brown like this. So the stroke is going to be brown. There's other places it's being used, but there are two lines there. The one outside and the one inside. But yeah, I only change the one outside. I think the one outside, yeah. And you see, I only changed the one outside. I did not change the one inside. So it's having this color. You can't change it from the image. You have to change it from the original source. So the original source will allow you to change. Then we can open it. You just update the stroke. But once you load it from the HTML, then you can change it from CSS directly. But if you load it from image, you can't change it. So that's just the difference between
Okay.
stuff. So I'm going
Okay,
to,
sir. I want to ask you a question.
yes.
Can you have style and still open? Can you have internal CSS, which is
Of
the
course.
style from direct from the
Of
HTML, and
course.
still have external again?
Of course. That's the reason why I explained precedence that time. You can use any one of them or you can use all of them together. So, but
Mm,
what is there is that you need to know which one the CSS is going to apply. And that's what I talked about precedence. So when you're talking about the inline one, it always having precedence over the other one. Like inline will always win. Any style you apply here now, it will win over whatever that is coming from this external. It will always win. It will always win. So which means here now, if you give this header a style, maybe like background color of yellow now. So you now go to your CSS and you are now selecting that same header, you give background color of blue. You see that this blue will not work. Blue will not work. The one that is going to
okay.
work is one that I apply from this HTML here. As you can see, it will never change from this yellow because this inline always win. Matter whatever you are doing with any other CSS stuff, this inline one will always win. But you can actually tell it that you don't want it to use that inline. And how do you talk to that one? Is by using important here. So which means you are telling it that this one is very important more than that. Like it's very, very important
Um,
that inline one. So you should abandon the inline and use what we have here. And if I save it now, as you can see, it will use the blue because we are giving it that this one is very important. That you should abandon any other rules that is following and just use this one for us. But if you don't use this important, inline one will always win. The same thing too, embedded, it will win over the embedded too. If you do anything from embedded, the inline will always win over them. So if I select the header here, and this one should have a background, so background color of brown like this one too will not work. The only one that will work is the yellow background. So because inline, the element will trust what is coming from it rather than what is coming from the outside here. It will not use it from this embedded and it will not use it from external if the property are the same. But if the properties
yes.
are not the same, then it will combine them together. For example, here now, if it is color that is here, the color and background color are not the same, so they are separate. So it will combine this color along with this background color on the element. So it will pick all the style from there and it will apply it on the content that you have on the screen in case you have any text here. Because we did not have any text, so that's why the color is not there. But here now, if I want, I can just use the p tag, which is going to be test or testing like this. Say you say that the text is going to be brown instead of it to be what's going on. Where's my other content? Yeah, as you can see now, the text is going to be this brown. But the background, if it is background, it will never pick it up from here because it's already seen one background already on the element tag. So you can use the three of them together if you want. But I don't like it. That's why I'm not using it. But if you want, you can put your style here
Okay.
to still work. Just like to know that
Okay.
whatever you
Okay,
are
sir.
doing from this line, we only mean over the other one. But then can you
Mm.
want to because no inline again and there is no embedded. Yes, embedded too. That one too will win based on the way you are there. So if I use embedded and the external one, and here now I'm selecting the header, so the background color should be brown. You see that the brown will win. So it's a brown that is going to win. It will not win again. Why? Because it's seen this one last. The link is at the top, and this one is down. As you can see, brown is winning. The blue is not winning again. So in order for the blue to win, it means you need to move it down so that you can see this link last. So since it's going to see the link last,
Okay.
it will win. But whatever it sees last, that's what it's going to use. And you know that it will always see the inline last. So that's why the inline always win.
Okay.
So as you can see now, the blue
Okay,
is
sir.
now winning.
Understand.
So this one is not winning again. So that's how it is. Whatever the CSS sees last, that's what it's going to use.
Mm.
So
Thank
let
you,
me
sir.
continue. Yeah, what we said we want to do is to have a button. This button is going to trigger a UI later on. But what is the UI that we want to trigger? So it's going to be inside this button. Don't forget, anytime you are dealing with positioning, you always work with parent and child. So the parent is what determine the movements of the placement of the child there are like that. So if you want the element to be relative to the header, then we need to place it under the side. For example, here I'm going to create a div, and this div is going to have the search box like this. So inside the search box, I'm going to have the input, and if you want, you can put icon inside it. But for now, that's not the major thing. So this one is going to be type search, and it's going to have a placeholder. All these things we've done them before. So placeholder, enter your search. So this is just the dummy text. And after this input, I'm going to have this p tag, and this p tag is just going to have a dummy text. Your search will appear here. So saved. So what do we want to do once again? What we want to do is like this site here. So what we want to do is like this site. Where is it? Where is the site? Okay, I can't find the site again. I've, I've replaced the site too.
Jesus Christ.
Let me open the history. So, so I think I use this for Thompson to replace it. So let me click on the
Yes.
arrow.
No, it
Back
is
arrow.
X you use. It's Twitter you use for this. Twitter.
Oh, did I delete? So let me go to history. But the site is not even. So history recently closed. Recently closed. Where are you? Come outside. Ah, it's not showing on the list. Oh. That means I've not closed it. So where is it? It's not on the list. How to? No.
Okay, I think. It is not that one, abi?
I know it.
Okay.
I'm the one that opened this one myself. No, this is not it. This is not. This is not it. Ah, this is not it.
Jesus.
So
And hope it's not that last one, the last position
no, 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 no,
11.
no, no, no. That's our own now.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see. Issue. Ah, what's wrong? Let me. This is a stuff. This is a Google search. This is where I get the site from.
Okay.
Where is it safe? It's not showing again. I'm still surprised. Ah, how come?
Oh.
So the fonts can't be this. This is not it. Well, let me continue. I know what I want to do. Just that man,
Okay.
see the visual stuff. So let me continue
Okay.
because there is no time. No time. There is time. So there is no time. This thing is slowing down my system. So there is no time. Ah, what's going on? Let me stop all this. What's wrong with my browser like this? I don't want to go. All right. So ah, this thing doesn't want to. So
Why are you just going to restart your laptop then?
all right. So let's continue. Let me save this one. Go the remove for this. So start with our normal P0, M0, box sizing, border box. So border box, fonts, family should be system UI like this so that I can use some of these nice fonts for us that I have on the system, depending on the one I have on the system. So we have the background, the background color is going to be this my favorite BQ BQ color like this. So we have the width should be 100%. Minimum height should be 100 VH. So minimum height should be 100 VH. Overflow X should be hidden. You don't want anything on the X to start scrolling in case there's anything like that. So here now we need to talk to the header of the site. So this one should have a background of this white color. So the header should have background white. It should be displayed as flex so that it is placed wherever that is inside it side by side. A line should be centered, so which means vertically it's going to be centered. There are just five content space between. So every other, there are two things inside it, the logo and that icon right now. So we need a padding so that we can have enough room inside the box. But now look at what is happening. This search box, we don't want it to appear here. We don't want it to appear here. We want it to appear under this icon. So how do we do that? So in order for you to do this, you need to be able to position the icon or to position this box wherever you want it to be. So where is the box? I think we call it this mp2, as you can see, search box. So let me give you a background that is the search box. It's going to have this background of red. And so what do we want to do? We want this search box to appear under here at this side, which is going to be close to this the button to trigger it later on by the time we include the JavaScript. So how do we do that? We need to remove it from its original location. And how do you remove it from the original location? What you need to do here is to position it as absolute. Now, absolute positioning there, I told you last time that when you position any element as absolute, first of all, it will be removed from its original location, which means whatever space that that element is occupying in its parent, it will be removed. Then the element doesn't know where it's coming from again, so you need to point the element where you want it to stay by using the offset property. And what are the offset property? They are this top, you have the left, you have the
The
you have the bottom,
mm,
or you have this inset. If you want to change all the value at once, so if you want to change them at once, you can use inset. But if you want to change any one of them, you just mention the side of the offset that you want to modify or add there. So that's how it works. So if I save it now, you see that the element will be removed from its original location. So it has been removed. It doesn't know where it's coming from again. So it's now left for you to move it around anywhere you want to position it. But I told you that anytime you position any element as absolute, its parent needs to be positioned apart from static. Anytime you position any element as an absolute, make sure that its parent is positioned apart from static. And any parent that you know that is not going to move from its original location, just position it as relative. So which means header here, we need to change its position to relative. If not, the box, which is a search box, is not going to use its parent to calculate offset. For example, here now, if I disable this one and I said the button should be 0, you see that it will not use its parent to calculate the button. Then it will now, can you see what it's now doing? It's using body. Why is he using body? The reason why he's using body is because its parent is not positioned. And since none of its parent is positioned, then it's going to use the body to calculate the offset. But now, if you activate this position in there for the parent too, using relative, you see that it will now be using the bottom of the parent to calculate its offset. Can you see now? It's now stick to the bottom of the parent like this. Or if you want, we can just use the top, and this one is going to be 100%. So which means the top of this element is going to go to the bottom side of its parent. No, here this is 0%, this is the top. When you mention top, it's using its parent. So this is the top of its parent, this is the 0%, and here is the 100% for the top. So for the bottom, this is the 0% for bottom, and this is a 100% for bottom. Don't forget, positive is going away from the side you mentioned, and negative is closing to the side that you mentioned. So this is the top, this is 0. And I said this thing should be 100%. So which means from the top, it will come down by 100%. And you know that 100% is just the total height of that. That's why you see that it come down to this side. But I want it to be at this right hand side. I want it to close to this side. I don't want it to be sticky to this side too much. It's just a little space from there. So what do we need to use here? We need to apply our right, because we want it to go to the right side there. So here now I want the right to be 1 rem. 1 rem is just like the spacing between this right towards the left side. So if you save it here now, you see that it will be close here. So as you can see, so on the top, it come down by 100%. Then to the right, we are giving it this offset of 1 rem. If you want to use left, you can use it too, but you are going to do a lot of work because it's the right you are focusing on. So that's why I'm not using left. Because I want to move it down, and it's easier to move down from top downward here. That's why I use top. You can actually use bottom too to do it. It will work, but you have to make sure the value you are using here matches the bottom side there. So if you use bottom now and you just say 0, don't forget it's focusing on the bottom of the element. So which means if I save it there now, is the bottom that is going to be at that 0 point. So which means you now need to shift this thing down until the top match, which is a waste of time because there and now the top is what you are focusing on. So which means you need to use maybe like 5 rem. You check, is it okay? If it is not okay or if it is much, you reduce it to maybe 2 rem or 1 rem depending on the value that matches that. As you can see, 2 rem to it's kind of, so I can use this 3 rem here and you can see what you are doing. You keep guessing the value until you see the one that works. But which is the top you are dealing with? Since you are dealing with top, why not just mention top here and quickly give this value of 100% or 105%? If I want to give it extra space. So what this thing is saying is that from here now down here is going to be 105%. So from this white here to the end of this white, that's 100. Then give it extra 0.5 so that it can be spaced. But if you don't want any space here, just leave it as 100 and you see that it will take to this side. And as you can see now, we are able to position this element wherever we want it on the page. So which means here now on the page, we can actually have other content there and it's not going to shift them around. It's not going to be placed on top of them. For example, here by using H1, title of the page. And after this, I'm going to generate like a 4P with lorem 25 like this. So it's going to generate this domain text just to represent the content of the page. So and I will duplicate this p like multiple times. So on the page, you see that the content are going to show and it's going to affect whatever we have here. Can you see them? So let me reduce this thing because it's too much. As you can see, we have the content there and it's being placed on top of this content. So with the help of absolute positioning here, you can move element anywhere you want. So if I remove this only for absolute now, you see that the element will go back to its original position because by default it is static. So as you can see, it's going to be placed in its original position. But we don't want it to be here. We want to move it around. And what do you need to do? You position it by either using this absolute or fixed or sticky, depending on the feature that you want. So with this absolute, is always going to be positioned relative to its parent. If the parent is positioned, if the parent is not positioned, then it's not going to be wherever you want it to be. So if you want it to be relative to the parent, then you need to make sure that the parent is positioned apart from static. It can be, this one can be absolute too. It can be fixed or it can be sticky. As long as it's not static, it will be using its parent to calculate the offset because absolute doesn't know where it's coming from again. As you can see, it will be removed. There's that left for you to offset it. If I don't do offset, it will just go to anywhere it likes on the page. You can see, it will just go to anywhere it likes on the page there. But you can shape that or you can move it around to anywhere you want it to be on the page. So saved, and it's going to be moved to wherever I want it to be. If I want it to be on the left side, so instead of us using right, what we just use is left. So we are focusing on the left. So it's going to shift it from the left to the right by 1 rem. As you can see, it will be moved. It's not, that's not what we want. So we want it to be by the right hand side. And from there now, you can just work on this box, give it whatever you want it to be. For example, here, the background should be white, like this. But it's going to have a border radius, it's going to have padding and some other thing. So padding should just be 0.5 rem. Border radius should be around that 0.5 rem too, like that. What's wrong with this thing? Border radius should be 0.5 rem. So it's going to be displayed as flex because I want to position what is inside it. So flex direction should just be column, like this. What's going on? VS Code. That should be 0.75 rem. So save, and you're going to see that we have our box, which is having white background, but we need to apply shadow because we don't want the thing to just flat on top of the other content. We need to apply a shadow at the back of it there. So save, and once this thing is done, as you can see here, so we have the box, but it's not displaying the way I want it to display. It's not displaying the way I want it to display. So I want to apply box shadow. So at the bottom part, so on the X it's not moving, but on the Y I want it to come down a little bit. So I want it to have this stuff and save it. You're going to see that it's not having this shadow at the back. You can see now we have this box coming in bit by bit. So inside the search box, we have the input there. So I want to style this input too. What to do? The border should be 1 pixels, then solid. This my color that I normally use. Then padding should be there too. So padding 0.5 rem like this. What do we need again? But this thing is not showing. Oh, this color is not showing. Let me take it to this one that I can come aside. All right. So we need border radius of around the zero 0.5 pixels. And again, inside this search box, we have a p tag. So I want to reduce the font size. So the font size is going to be somewhere around this 0.75 rem. So that's going to be smaller. And I think this box needs to have more spacing. What did I use there for the padding? 0.5 is too small. So let me use 875, which is this 14 pixels, so that we can have more box. And again too, if you want, you can increase the width more. So this one should have a minimum width, but right now it's using the width of the content that is inside it. That's why you see that it's reduced. But if you want, you can give it a minimum width, maybe around this 300 pixels. So it must not be less than 300 pixels, as you can see now. So it will never be less than 300 pixels by default. Even if the content that is inside is not up to that, it will make sure that it maintain this stuff that we have there. So what do we did now? What we just do is to position this element where we want it on the page. And how did we do this thing? First of all, where the element is located there, we position it as relative so that we can use that element as our reference point for the offset property of the child. Once we position the child as absolute, it doesn't know where it's coming from again. So if you don't give the parents a position apart from static there, it will not use that parent to calculate the offset. So in order for it to use the parent to calculate the offset, that's the reason why we have this position of relative for the parent. And anytime you are doing this, your offset like top, left, right, whatever stuff, it will always use the parent to calculate the stuff. So if I want it to come down more, I can just increase it to this 105%. So 100% is the parent year to year, then it will add extra 0.5, or if you want it to come down more, you can just use like this 110, just add extra 10% so that it will shift it down a little bit. So from year to year is 100, then add extra 10% to make it to come down like this. And again, we need to start this button so that that one to look nice. It's not looking this, no, what we have right now. So under this header, so header, I have button there. So I don't want that background. The background that is going to be there is going to, background color should be transparent. Don't want any background color. So the border should be none. So it's going to have this height of 3 rem, which is 3 rem. So it is going to have display of flex so that I can move whatever that is inside it to the center of it. So I'll be able to move what is inside it to center. So JCC and AIC, which is going to align to center like this. So saved, you see that we have the box without no background, but I want it to have a cursor of pointer so that it shows that it's something that is clickable. And at the same time, I want to have box shadow around it. So it's going to have box shadow. It's going to be using the parent background, but the shadow is going to be there to elevate it that that thing is actually there. So box shadow is going to be 0, 0. On the X and Y is not moving at all. So the radius is what is going to be there. So 10 pixels, then RGB like this. And you're going to see that it will have a shadow there. So it's it here. But this 3 is too much. Let me change it to 2 rem, 2 rem like this. And we need a border radius around it. So border radius, and this my this thing is too much too. Border radius should just be 0.5 rem. I don't want it to be circle. If I want it to be circle, we just use 50%, but I just want it to be like this. And this shadow too is too much. So let me reduce this to around that point 3 so that it just a subtle shadow at the back of the box. So as you can see, it's there, the shadow is there, but it's not that visible. So let me increase it. I hope you can see the shadow. So who is going to give
Mm,
nice?
no, I can't see the shadow.
It's because I actually reduce. So let me increase this stuff. It's actually there. So the shadow.
Even
Let me
to
change
me,
the
I'm not
background.
able to.
Let me change the background color to this beach like this. So that it's going to use this kind of a background stuff. Yeah. This background.
Okay.
Let me let me use this cube. Okay. Nah, it's not working with it. Let me increase this one. It's already there. Oh. Let me use 95. But I want it to be closer to white. Yeah, I think it's okay. Let me leave it as 90. So it's okay like this. So what do we want to do? What we want to do here is now we don't want this thing to come outside. We only want it to come outside when you click on this button. So anytime you click on the button, it will toggle this stuff to move outside there. So how do you do it? How do you do it? So by default, this our search box, we don't want to see it. So what can we do it to it that we don't want to see it? So what we can do here, and we want to animate it. So what we can do, yeah,
But please, my question before you do the this thing, this enter your search box now.
yes.
The position you position it is you give it top, and you know that it is at the bottom of the header. So why can't you give it the bottom instead of the
As
top?
that means
Because I
that
believe
means you did not
the
listen
top
to me.
is
I've
supposed
already
to be at
explained it.
the up here.
Wait, that means I've already explained it. You did not listen to me when I was talking about it. Look at it.
I
The
did not really
bottom.
understand
When you
it.
say bottom, this is what you are moving. When you are talking about bottom, it's not talking about the bottom of the parent. Oh. You are moving the bottom of this item to that parent. Oh. Let's you see now. Let me change it from top and use bottom. So if I use bottom now and you just say 0, what you are saying is that the bottom of this element should go to the bottom of this parent. So now if you save it now, can you see what it's doing? It's moving the bottom, it's not moving the top. But what you want to do is
Okay.
that the top is what you want to be here. The top is what's supposed to be here, not the bottom. Can see the difference.
Okay. Understand it.
So the bottom, what you are saying here is the bottom should be on the line of the bottom of the parent. But here, what I actually want is that I want the top of the element to be at the bottom of the parent. That's why I
Okay.
increase the value. So when you say now, you are moving the top of the element to the top of the parent. If you just say 0, when you just say 0 like this, it will move the top of the element to the top of the parent. Can you see now? The top of the element has gone to the top of the parent. But I don't want it to be at the top here. I want it to come down. That's why I increase the value to around that 110%. Because I know
Okay.
here is 0% and here is 100%. So now from
Okay.
here, I can shift it down by 100%. But I still want it to come down more. That's the reason why I use that 110. So if we use,
Okay.
it means from the top, it will come down by that value. So 100%. The top of this element from its original parent here, it will move it down by 100%. It's moving the top, oh, it's not moving the bottom. But just that the stuff is going to the bottom of its parent because we shift it down by 100%. If it says 0,
Okay.
just go to the top of the parent. But if you now give it a value, it will shift it by that value from that position, from that top, or from the offset that you mentioned. The same thing
Okay.
for the right. So we want the right to be here, which is not left. If you mention left, it means it will be moving the left of the element. You mention right, it will be moving the left of the element, but it will be calculating it based on the that same of the parents. So when you say right, it will move the right of the element, but calculate this value based on the right of the parent. It's calculating the value based on the right of the or the offset of the parent, but it's moving the element whatever offset you mention. If you say left, to move the left of the element, but use the parent to calculate the value. If you say right, it will move the right of the element, but use the parent to calculate. That's what is going on there. So since I want
Okay.
to be down here, look at it, it's the top that is down here, not the bottom. The bottom is not here, it's the top that is here. So that's why it mentioned top, but I'm moving it down by this 100%. But I still want to go down more. That's why I use 110. Move it down a little bit so that it's not jam packed to that white box. And if you still want it to, you can just keep increasing it until you are okay with movement that you want there.
Okay, so if I want it to come to this at the bottom of the test here, this any pro stuff here, so you just need to keep increasing the
So
volume,
where?
like the body, not the header again, the body here.
Yes, now you keep increasing until you get to that part.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
you don't just move it like that. You only since it's relative to his parents, so it should not be far from wherever it's coming from. But that's the reason why you are using the parent to calculate the offset because you don't want it to be far from the parent. So you always
Mm,
use stuff, and that's why you see that from that side, you see that the thing is not just moving out anyhow. It's close to
okay,
it's being used. So like,
okay, so
let me see these sites. Does have the no, this is my own local stuff. So this one did not have it. So I don't know why this thing just closed. I can't find the link again. So that's how it works. And I think in the tomorrow now we're going to add a JavaScript there. I can't add it now. I want to see
mm,
my boss. So there's something already. So tomorrow now, we now add a JavaScript to the stuff. And you two, I will give you assignment that we are going to work on based on this. So I will give you,
okay, sir.
you go to that site and you see how it is, then you now replicate the stuff. It's just the basic. Look at it here. So it's even here sef for this Google Meet. If I click on this thing, as you can see, this thing come outside. As you can see, this thing that is that I click. And it's the same thing too on your browser or any application you have. Can you see? You click on this thing, pop it out. And you click again, it goes back. The same thing here for this side. But I click on this menu, can you see their own? See their own design. So the design can be any, can be different design. Look at the way it is. You click, it close. You click, it come outside like this. So we are going to do this one. I will do this one. Then again, we see this one in action too, because as a design, even most of the design we have worked with, or the mobile version, they have this kind of a stuff there. They have this kind of a design there. So we are going to work on it, and from there, you go with your own this thing. So that is going to be
Okay, sir.
for now. I don't want.
Thank you very much, sir.
So where is the video? So oh, it's even 1 hour already. So